Since you see that Pearl Accounting getting down up.
What? Earl County?
Pearl Accounting, they told you the tax people we used in, well, they got all that's gold
Oh, really?
right next to Rose.
Universe. That's the one you went to?
Yeah.
I seen that they were open.
Yeah. Gary Brown, I think he's gonna be down here, that's Karen's daughter.
I might have to stop them before they get filled up. Then.
Yeah, I really like him. Harry, 150, 120.
120.
Want to call the meeting to order? Start with pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mochler.
Here.
Graylow.
Here.
Brady.
Here.
Casey.
Here.
Gilbertson.
Here.
Approve agenda.
Few changes, we need to add the Wakanda Community Development Company to the appointment list. And we need to switch the surplus trays to 120, and we have to add an executive session
For personnel.
for person. With that, I'll move to approve.
And I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion passes. Any conflict of interest declarations? Hearing none, approved minutes for the December 30th and December 31st, 2025 meetings.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion passes. Motion to adjourn and reconvene to reorganize for the ensuing year.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion passes. Turn the meeting over to Carrie.
Okay, do the election of the chairperson. Are there any nominations for the chair?
Nominate Travis Wells.
Second.
That was you, Kevin?
Yep.
Okay. Any other nominations?
Move the nomination cease.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you. Election of vice chair. Entertain motion to, for vice chair.
Nominate Dave Teasy.
Second. Motion and a second. Any other nominations?
Move the nomination cease.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Dave's the vice chairman. Are there any visitors to be heard or not on the agenda?
Yes, sir. Chair. My name is Robin Shira. I live at 311 East Washington in Elk Point. Been here quite a few times. In fact, I wanted to let you know I've been here coming to you asking for help for almost 3 years now. And that's, to me, a horrible thing. Those people that are still in my house are human trafficking underage girls. I know that this is Human Trafficking Prevention Month. They have smoking pot, they're smoking cigarettes, they have a meth lab in my house. And I have been asking you to help put them away ever since almost 3 years now. I ran for office 2 years ago and I'm going to run again. And at that time, I found it really strange that your county, your state attorney showed up and I asked him for help and he redirected me and said he couldn't really help me at that time. And now 3 years later, here I am again. And I find it horrible that in 3 years that you haven't been able to help me, not one of you. And just for the record, if you get onto Google and you see an IRS investigation, it takes only 12 to 24 months, even a criminal one, and that includes the court hearings. So what they are telling you is illegal. You are all now part of racketeering, and you will go down for all the crimes that they have committed in the time that I've been coming to you asking for help. And I just want you to know you'll be liable for all those crimes. And whatever he says is wrong. He's buddies with the state, with the attorney general. And just for the record, I went to the school that the attorney general said he went to, and I got 2 engineering degrees, and he did not get out of that school with an engineering degree because there was no way when I talked to him that he ever got out. I have friends that, my best friend was an electrical engineer and in his fraternity. And he knows nothing about him and says that he did not go to that school and he did not graduate from that school. So even though he's been telling you this stuff, he's been lying to you. And I just want you to know that you're all gonna be liable for this. These guys killed the Union County sheriff. He was 33 years on the job and was the only person that was helping me. And he was killed. His wife asked for an autopsy and it didn't happen because they made sure it didn't happen. So you're gonna also be liable for that, waiting 3 years to not do anything about it. This is horrible. If I was you, being a previous county commissioner, I'd have fired myself. I wouldn't wait for the public to fire me. I'd have fired myself if I was one of you, not helping somebody for 3 years. That's just horrible. And I want it on the record that all of you are gonna be liable for this racketeering that they have done and brought you into, and you haven't gotten out because you listened to this guy who's lying and you listened to the Attorney General who's lying. And I think the world of most of you, and I sit there and say, outside of this regime, I think the world of you. But inside here, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. 3 years. You don't investigate somebody illegally for 3 years. It's been 9 years they've been in my house, squatting. It's wrong. Get your job done. And by the way, the sheriff has not contacted me about that Republican women's group. And that was a robbery in your county. And he has not even called me, and it's been since October. This is horrible. Do your jobs. Get it done. When I was a county commissioner, I'd have done something about this. Get it done. Thank you.
Any other visitors here? Hearing none. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yep. Let's see, annual organizational items, the 2026 board. So look at this, this is where we want to go to executive session, right, before we go through all this.
Yeah, that'd probably make the most sense to me as well. If that was your intention.
Yeah, to discuss because planning and zoning members are on, the ones who to appoint today, so we can discuss the candidates.
We have a little pre-executive session discussion and then a little public discussion.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Everybody can stay here, we'll leave. Andy will just need access. I have a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, we're in executive session.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're in regular session. Annual organizational items for 2026. We will start with the highway superintendent for a 2-year term through 1/3 of 2028.
So moved. Brent Hayes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. 1-year term for the emergency management director through 1/4/2027.
So moved. Lee Stewart.
Second. I know, it's hard to remember.
Yes, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hey, you're lucky.
That's one of the reasons I'm here.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, motion passes. Zoning administrator and veteran service officer for a 4-year term through 1/7 of 2030.
So moved, Noah Westergaard.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Fair Board Commissioner. Was Kevin?
I'm willing to do it again if you'll have.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Executive Board of the CCOG. Jeffrey was commissioner last year.
Willing to do it again?
Motion that Jeffrey do it again.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Board of Directors for the Clay County Youth Trust Fund and Youth Service Council. Last year was Jeffrey.
Yeah, willing to do it again?
Move that Jeffrey do it again. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The Planning Commission, and we'll start with the commissioner appointee in 2025, Dave Teasy.
Happy to stay.
Move that Dave stay on the board.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Let's see, 4 community member seats. This is the resolution for this one.
The fifth member, resolution number, the fifth member is also on that resolution.
Oh,
You guys.
Well, we'll have to
I just-
revote them.
Yeah, just make it duplicative. So I move that we pass resolution 2026-03, and that Matt Olson. So his seat, well, which one is, what are the terms on the seat? One is, so I can provide some guidance. So pursuant to ordinance 25. Out of here. 2025-05, which was passed back in November 13th of 2025. It went into effect December 11th of 2025. The intention of that ordinance is to organize the planning commission into 4 different seats. Well, 5 seats. The 5th seat being the Clay County Commissioner, which is required by law that at least 1 commissioner serve on the planning commission. Seats, the intention here with the initial term is that pursuant to the ordinance that I cited, seat 1 is for a 1-year term.
Okay.
Seat 2 is a 2-year term, seat 3 is a 3-year term, and seat 4 is a 4-year term. At the end of each of those 1-year term, 2-year term, 3-year term, and 4-year term, they all convert to 4-year terms. And the intention behind that was that moving forward, we will now appoint 1 individual from the community that will serve in seat 1, 2, 3, or 4 annually, as well as the commissioner. But this way the intention really is to provide more longevity inside of the planning commission in the form of, experience, not having to appoint numerous people into their first time onto the commission. So we did that. We separated the terms into the initial terms, but then moving forward, they'll all be filled to 4-year seats.
Sounds good. So seat 5 is Dave then.
Seat 5 would be the Clay County Commissioner, correct?
So then however you want to start it.
Thank you. So following that, I
Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman. I want to abstain from Marty, say that up in front.
Okay.
So would we still be able to do all 4 at once, or?
So I understand that you're wanting to abstain just out of, are you citing to a conflict of interest? Given your relationships?
Nepotism, whatever.
Just concerned, right, about, and that's because your relationship to one of the applicants is that he is your brother, is that correct?
Correct.
So we could do this one of 2 ways. If your intention is to conflict away from, if you want to abstain from voting in that situation, the conflict belongs to you. You have the right to claim the conflict. If you believe that there's a conflict of interest, and you want to abstain from voting, you can, one of 2 things could happen. You could just abstain from voting for all of them, or you could parse out the motions individually, so that, rather than making one motion for all 5 seats, motions could be made on individual seats. And then if there is a time which Marty Gilbertson is selected, you could then abstain from voting on that motion. It would really be at the discretion of the court.
My anticipation is that we have good qualified candidates, and we seem to have a fair amount of consensus in the body on who's appropriate to have in these roles. So if it's convenient to you to simply abstain from the whole vote, I think that we should be able to come up with a pretty good slate here. Yep. And my intention would be to appoint Marty to one of those seats, actually. So. Yep.
What would you like to do? Would you like to vote on 4 of the 5?
I'd feel better if we did it individually.
Okay, we can do that.
I know it'd take a few more minutes, but.
Sure.
That's okay.
So how do we do that then?
So here you can make a motion for each seat, and I would just advise you to likely start with seat 1. Someone were inclined to make a motion for an applicant to fill seat 1, go through that motion and voting process, and then continue through seats 2 through 5. in the same way.
And then pass the resolution separately incorporating those things?
Correct.
Okay,
Okay, so we're just gonna vote on each individual seat right now. And then when we get it filled, then we'll vote on the resolution,
Correct.
which Glenn will be able to vote on.
And Glenn would be able to vote on at that point. Because
Okay.
it'll have already been passed individually through motions.
Okay, I move that Matt Olson be appointed to seat 1.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Motion, all those again? Motion passes.
I move that Ruslan Averin be appointed to seat 2.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Against? Motion passes.
I move that Marty Gilbertson be appointed to seat 3.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Abstain.
I
Opposed? Motion passes.
And I vote that Cindy Ayton be appointed to seat 4.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Now we'll entertain a motion on resolution 2026-03 to approve all those numbers.
Move that we pass resolution 2026-03.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I think we already covered that, right?
We did.
Okay.
Any-
He was just questioning whether we covered seat 5, but I think that. Discuss that later.
Roll call,
Mochler,
yes.
Graylow,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Easy,
Yes.
Gilbertson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Public Safety Board was previously Bob Fuller, and he will accept a reappointment to expire on 12/31/2028.
Oh, I moved to reappoint Bob Fuller.
Second.
He's willing to serve again.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passes. The Vermillion Basin Advisory Board in 2025 it was Commissioner Glenn and Highway Superintendent Brett Hayes.
Willing to do it again? Move to approve Glenn
And
Hayes.
Second. Second. A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Joint Powers Solid Waste and Recycling Advisory Board, 2025 is Commissioner Gilbertson.
Willing to do it again? Move to approve Commissioner Gilbertson.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Vermillion Chamber and Development Company Board, 2025, it was myself.
Move to approve Chairman Mochler.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Now Advisory Council, 2025, it was myself.
Only question I had on that one is, how are we looking on that? Is that wrapping up at any point? We're getting, is that still, I guess, is that still an active?
It's always active.
Oh,
Just
but-
get on a-
Isn't the Vermillion now one of the specific, so now we've got Grow Vermillion? Is that, so like, so the advisory, I was assuming once all the funds are out on the advisory,
Then they start again.
then they just start again and just keep monitoring it in.
Well, they start raising money again.
Well, but so now we're mostly on the Grow Vermillion campaign, right? That's what I'm paying into each year, right? And then, but is all the now's funds expended or not yet?
Well, that I couldn't tell you. I just assumed they were still the same
No,
board every time.
well, I guess you know better than I do, even at the meeting.
I just look at the Vermillion now, because that's what it was when I first got on
Well,
the board and.
I'll say.
Might be like now, 3 or something like that.
I vote to appoint Chairman Mochler to either the Vermillion Now or the Grow Vermillion board, whichever it is currently named, so.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Both same sign, motion passes. Clay County Park Board in 2025, it was Commissioner Jeffrey.
Willing to serve again.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Both same sign, motion passes. The ICAP committee is always the chairman and the vice chair.
So one doesn't really need an appointment, I suppose.
Nope.
How's that going? That was one that, I remember last year I was advocating for a vice chair seat mostly just so I can monitor that. How, did you guys meet a few times last year?
Mm-hmm.
Is it productive at all? I mean, it seems like a body that should be able to do more.
It's productive as you can be when you don't have any money.
Ah. Fair.
A lot of wheel spinning,
Yeah.
a lot of good ideas, just
Yeah.
having a hard time.
Facilitate some communications. It seems like a few things have been moving a little more smoothly lately, so is that one of the ways that we're affecting that?
I think so.
Good.
What
do you need?
the pod committee, 2025 was Dave.
Move to reappoint Dave, if you're willing.
Yep.
All right.
Second.
A motion and a second, or any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Local Emergency Planning Committee, 2025, it was Dave.
Again.
Yep.
All right, move to appoint Dave to the local emergency planning.
A second.
I have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion passes. UAS, the Drone Committee,
Willing to do it again.
move to approve Kevin.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. County Employee Safety Program Board, 2025, it was Dave.
Yes. All right, I move to reappoint Dave.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Motion to designate location of foreclosure sales.
Hold on one second.
Oh.
Wakanda Community Development.
Thank you.
Oh, that's where that one goes.
Yep. I moved, oh, sorry.
No, I thought we were discussing it.
I'm willing to do it again.
Yeah,
Okay,
I moved to reappoint Commissioner Brady to that.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion passes.
Before we move on, make sure that we don't skip past the Robert's Rules of Order.
Thank you.
Did we?
Oh, we did. Yeah, I forgot about you. So I move, let's see, where's the language on that?
Right at the top.
Page, just a second.
Here, I'll just read it here. Motion to adopt Robert Rules of Order, 1876 edition by Major Henry M. Robert, completely revised by Darwin Patnode, PhD, as maintained in the auditor's office.
Second. Or I move, wait, did you make that? Yeah,
No,
I
I
just
just
read
read
that
it.
motion, right, so I make that motion, yep.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Now a motion to designate location of foreclosure sales. Previously front door of the courthouse or the Wakanda Post Office and it's at the sheriff's discretion.
Still works for you?
Yep.
We always do it with the courthouse.
That was a motion.
Yes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion passes. Motion to designate legal newspapers, previously the Vermillion Plain Talk and the New Era.
I move to designate the Plain Talk and the New Era or legal newspapers.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Motion to designate official depositories for Clay County money. Previously First Bank and Trust, BMO Bank, Ford Trust Bank, Vermillion, First Dakota National Bank, Wells Fargo Bank, Vermillion, First Premier Bank, Wakanda, South Dakota Fund Investment Trust, and Voyage Federal Credit Union.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Now what happens when these names change?
Did one of them, those change?
I thought BMO was
BMO was
changed.
gonna again.
Again?
It is gonna change again, but it hasn't.
Not, yeah, I don't.
I think what we should do is just, I mean, make the motion as it's currently, since they're called, need to be conscious of when that change happens. It'd probably be good to just go back and
Fix it.
fix it, right?
Okay.
For what it's worth, we don't have any accounts there currently.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion the way it's currently written.
We do. We're good.
Oh, we did? Motion in a second? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Motion to set county funeral fees for SDCLA 28-17-4. Previously is $1,900.
So
Michael, you're handling that now, right?
I've been designated as the welfare director, so we haven't had any, and so this board gave me the discretion to sign off on those. If you remember last year, right after I was named the welfare director, we had like 4 in a very short period of time. I believe we've worked through one other one, and I advised you guys of that other one, and we haven't had one since. Conversations I had with other counties back in June, July of 2025 was at $1,900. Is probably still the going rate. It's much lower than like a standard cost. But it appears that as far as
Our local funeral homes are coming
indigent,
with it.
yeah, indigent welfare directors across the state for indigent individuals, this is kind of the going rate for some parse out payments depending on like child versus an adult. We've never done that, but there is some counties I remember that paid a little more and some that paid a little less. So
Yeah, my main concern is just like if we keep rolling with the same number year after year, eventually we'll fall behind inflation, and I just want to make sure that we're providing a fair,
Yeah.
fair compensation to our.
Well, this is what the funeral homes are willing to do it for.
That's my, that's.
I haven't received any from, I have not had a funeral home in the community approach me about that dollar amount.
I moved to set the county funeral fees to $1,900 again.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Motion to set per diem travel expense reimbursement rates.
We've been just going with the state rates for things.
I moved that we set the per diem travel expense to whatever the state rates are.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Motion to set per diem meeting attendance rates for county commissioners serving on other boards and planning commission member meeting attendance rates.
I see that Noah has a recommendation is noted in the agenda.
Just an extra $10. Enough to pay for a dinner.
What's that on top of, what is it, 20?
25.
It's currently 25.
Yep. Make it 35.
When did we initially, does anybody know when we initially set the 25, or has it been 25 the whole time on the
It
commission?
was,
It's been 25 since 2011, I know.
If it's been
Yeah.
25 since 2011, I'm comfortable raising it to
I think
35. So
I think it's just.
Yeah, I mean, being yelled at by like.
It's that plus mileage, that's what the
Yeah.
planning commission gets.
all right, how do others feel about that, or is anybody opposed to 35?
Enough to go out and buy yourself a little steak dinner.
Yeah, $1 worth a heck of a lot less than it was in 2011, that's for sure. So
if you can even get a Whopper for that.
I think that seems appropriate. I move that we set the per diem meeting attendance rate to 35.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign, motion passes.
Good for another 15.
Motion to set treasurer's fees. We got $13 for priority mail shipping, in addition to fees set in statute. And $34 for priority express mail shipping, in addition to fees set in statute.
I did double check these with Rhonda too. And these were good amounts. There will be an extra one that's moving through process now. And so if that does pass through legislature, then we'll have that additionally too, but right now, it's these two. I think Rhonda's on if she has any additional things to say.
I'm sorry, Carrie, I missed what you said.
Oh, I just had said that those other two fees were moving through legislature, but they, if they do pass, then we'll have those. But for now, it's just the priority mail and the priority express mail.
That's correct. It's just going by what the post office is now charging for those services.
Yep, so if those fees seem appropriate to you as well, I move to reset the treasurer fees as listed in the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
I,
Both same sign. Motion passes. Okay, motion to set zoning administration fees. And we'll send out his recommendations.
Package should be linked there to just click and go to that page. Try to make it easy for you.
And then the other counties, I kind of linked what some other places are doing. So, main thing is that the post office is more expensive to ship certified mail out now. For notices, newspapers are a little bit more expensive depending on how lengthy the title is, so raising it will kind of just cover baseline along with meeting costs. For the basic CUPs and rezones. I added a plat application in there. So if there is a meeting because of a plat, cover the cost of the meeting. So that way the county doesn't just eat it.
Good. I think it's important that these fees be set carefully, and it sounds like you're doing that. I think that, you know, my guiding principle of this would be exactly what you expressed, covering the cost to the county. Most of these fees benefit some particular, most of these processes benefit some particular individual primarily, and having that individual bear that cost seems appropriate to me. So if this is what you feel, covering those costs, I don't think this should be a money-making part of the county, but I think it's also important that we cover those costs, so.
Yeah, like 911 applications, the actual signs are $38 piece now, with $18 shipping. And then we have to give it to the highway department who uses their trucks and 9 hours to go out and install it, so. Just another, it adds up really quick for actually installing something. And then I did adjust the building permit from $1 per thousand to $2 per thousand. That was my recommendation. You guys think that's appropriate? Amazing, but as you can see from the other counties, we're relatively cheap. The IBC is a calculated, you give them the floor plan and they tell you how much you owe. So if you have a, say, 2,000 square foot house and 1,800 of it is finished, well, it's $84 a square foot, and then like there's a whole calculator for it. So it's not a cheap permit.
Do you have any reference on how these fees have moved in the past? Like when were these last modified?
2011. I mean,
They were modified since then, but not
well,
much.
yeah, I mean,
Cindy was the.
yeah, I mean.
There's a few of
building
these that I
permit-
remember we've discussed in some meetings, yeah.
Building permit, I think from $50 and then $1 per thousand to $75 per $1. So it wasn't a big increase. And then the reason I did do the jump for the CUP and variance and rezone amendments is just, like I said, it covers the cost. I don't have to individually calculate all the mailing for each application. It's just this is our rate, you know, should cover 99 to almost all of it.
I think on the scale of most projects, none of this looks like it's gonna discourage any development.
We're not Hutchinson County, which is, I think, $750 to rezone
That's, but
in a conditional use permit.
so on the new single family residential structures. What is that's, if you're gonna build a house, is that what that 350 is?
Yeah, that's from the city. I didn't adjust the city prices.
Oh, that's the cities.
Yes, sir.
What they're getting. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they charge, that's what they charge for inspections for the JJZA.
Oh, that's what it is in the JJZA.
Yes, sir. Yep. So the right, I have JJ and then county at the top, distinguish the two.
Oh, I missed that.
The right hand side is county.
Okay.
And obviously planned development districts are a little bit cheaper just because it's a very developed plan instead of doing multiple hoops. It's just one packet.
There's no new categories of fees listed here, correctly?
No, other than the plat application right now, it is free to do a plat. Like I said, you know, it takes my time, to review it, Lisa's time, Linnea's time for GIS. So, and then obviously if it is a major plat, the whole planning commission.
That's a big one.
I make a motion to accept Noah's recommendations for the zoning administration fees.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? So we're gonna. So Noah's recommendations, because there's more than the 4 that we have listed previously. We're gonna take his
Right.
in place of those 4.
This is the link down one, right? That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
The full,
Okay.
the full new fee slate as proposed by NOAA. Was that listed publicly anywhere, or did you go through them all, or?
It's in the packet.
Okay.
And, it will be listed out in the minutes.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Both same sign, motion passes. Sheriff and jail fee rates. Andy's approved these. We've got out of county boarding rated $95 a day, or per contract rate. Clay County sentenced inmates with work release at $20 a day. Clay County sentenced inmates $15 a day. Adult electronic GPS monitoring, $20 a day. Juvenile electronic GPS monitoring, $10 a day. Applicant fingerprinting, $20 per 2 cards. Mug shots at $8. UA tests, $10. Accident reports, $2 a page. Other reports or for printed email civil service to serve, $2 a page. Production of video, $10 per CD, DVD, or email cloud share with additional $10 an hour for any review redaction. Sound good?
Move to approve the sheriff and jail fee rates.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion passes. Motion to set schedule of regular commission meetings. And we've met the first, second, and last Tuesday of every month. For I don't know how long.
Yeah.
But I propose doing every other Tuesday.
I reflected on it for a while. I think that's a really reasonable recommendation. I think, some pros and cons. I think that there is a certain predictability to know that first, second, and last, we're definitely gonna be meeting. But I don't think it's that much harder for people to recognize that it's every other. This is the first meeting of the year. So if our next one is the 3rd, then people can always just look at a calendar that'll show them which number week it is. And we will be meeting on the odd number of weeks throughout the year. So that seems pretty predictable and easy for people to calculate. My one concern was sometimes we will have an item come up and we'll need to address it again kind of rapidly, and that break between the meetings, which we normally will have every month, at least a 1 week and sometimes a 2-week break between meetings. Sometimes it's kind of a little, that's a little bit of a break. We try to do things in those 3 meetings in a row, but we'll be doing fewer meetings cumulatively over the year. So we can always just schedule one in, and it would be no different than it is this year to have 3 meetings in a row at that time. So based on all that, I think I'm comfortable moving to approve Travis's recommendation of going to every other week that we meet in our standard meetings are the odd weeks of the year.
So the motion we have to have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, but we'd go every other week, but the first meeting of the year has to be on the first Tuesday. So
Correct.
even if we met last Tuesday, you still have to meet on the first Tuesday.
But
Till January.
to Jeffrey's point, unless things change, there's 52 weeks in a year, so you should meet in the 51st week.
It should.
And I know Christmas is gonna sometimes fall in that area, so it might get strange, but then we'd be back to being the first meeting of the year. So I think it will work itself out generally.
My only suggestion would be to specify Thursday on election weeks. Because Tuesday is not gonna be good for,
That's
we'll have to
fine.
canvass on a Thursday.
Let's do that. Yep.
Cause that's the first Tuesday.
Do you know which dates those are? There'll be two in 2026.
2026, June 2nd. And November. Wait a second here. My calendar.
And I think the language that I used in my initial motion wasn't what I wanted to use. I rescinded my initial motion.
November 3rd, so June 2nd, November 3rd, so then the meeting would be June 4th, November 5th.
Suggest you also consider when you're gonna consider vouchers. Right now, it's the second and last meeting, but which one would it be in this case?
Well, it would just be every meeting then.
What's that?
It would just be every meeting then.
Every meeting you consider.
Mhm.
vouchers. Sometimes we do have issues with dates because of the span between those.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it any less than twice a month, so I think every meeting is reasonable.
It's a big change.
This will help with the vouchers, I think, paying bills timely. Cause there's times they come in, cause there is, I mean, we get certain months where there's a 3-week gap.
Mhm.
And then we get a bill immediately after our second meeting, and then we gotta wait 3 weeks to approve a payment. So I'm hoping this
Helps that.
helps that process.
We've got a lot of department heads on. This is a big change. How do people feel about it?
I like it for the consistency and getting the bills paid on time.
Anybody else want to weigh in? We don't need to hear from them. It's particularly Linnea, Brent, do you guys have any concerns?
So can I just make this motion? And just say with allowances for election considerations, would that cover?
You just say, you know, on an election week, set the meeting on Thursday instead of Tuesday.
Okay. I will make that motion.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. To meet every other week, except on election weeks, we'll meet on those Thursdays.
Sounds good. And for what it's worth, I think that this is a lot less confusing than the first, second, and last Tuesday, because when you get to that last Tuesday, a lot of times, even those of us that have been with the county for years will look at the calendar wrong and will think it's that third Tuesday instead of the last Tuesday, and I think this just clears that up.
Hey, can you guys hear me? Sorry. I didn't
Yeah.
have a phone. I was scrambling for it. My only concern is that county consolidated boards do have to meet on the second Tuesday, but that works out this year. It's just if I counted every other, and I think it works out this year.
Even if it did work
Should work
out,
out.
we'd just have to come in.
Yeah, this will be.
Right.
Only for regular.
And then the other thing I had was I need to double check the codified law if I'm supposed to meet with you the first meeting in April or the first Tuesday in April. There's one of those where I'm supposed to have my annual meeting with you. And I think it's the first meeting that you hold in April.
And if it were to be the first, if it falls outside of statute, we just hold a special meeting for
Right.
that.
Yeah.
By law.
Or move a meeting. I know that that's something we've done in the past is sometimes move a meeting.
But I think everything works out this year, so I'm good with that.
Thank you for the input, Linnea.
Thanks. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. All same sign, motion passes. Motion to approve South Dakota Public Assurance Alliance for the county's liability and SDML workers' comp insurance.
Approve. Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. All same sign, motion passes. Motion for intent to cover sheriff reserve deputies, election poll workers, and interns on workers' compensation. And interns on workers' compensation insurance. The sheriff maintains a list of reserve deputies, the auditor maintains a list of poll workers.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Use of Sourcewell as a potential vendor source for the county. And this is the same company we've been using for quite a while now.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign. Motion passes.
That next one on the list, we can skip over until we get to me on the agenda.
Okay. I think that's the end of our reorg. Didn't miss anything, right?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay. Now, if we didn't put Lori to sleep.
I'm gonna come up there. Actually, it was nice to read it. You've got my notes. Try to keep it brief. I did my 6th month on the job over Christmas. So I start month 7. So it's been a good experience so far. We've got wonderful volunteers and the 4-H'ers still continue to amaze me. I was one of them once upon a time, but I didn't know how inspiring we could be. The designated fleet vehicle was starting in October. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that. And then on December 30th, I completed my first employee annual review with Dr. Knoll. I felt it went extremely well. We'll see how she scores me out. We had a good discussion. And then you've got a couple of news releases. When we're doing events, I try to get out a news release to invite the media. And if they don't come, I mean, they're not always going to come, then I'll try to write an article myself so that we keep 4-H out in front of, just so people know what we're doing. And if they're interested in joining, it's just another way to recruit as well. And then something new that Union County 4-H has asked me to start an Instagram account. So I'm going to also start one for Clay County because that's where the 4-H'ers are hanging out. Facebook is not really where they're going for our information. Then another new thing that we're starting is just my time here. I've realized talking to prospective members and even current members, more new on the scale of things. We need to have a new member orientation session to start with. We'll do that this month or next month, and then we'll follow up with a couple more before the fair. So they know how to work with our software so they can actually get their entries into the software. So they get it in on deadline, and it's an easy slam dunk. Because I have here some, they're learning, so we need to give them a little bit more help, and I'll be using some adult volunteers, some of our 4-H ambassadors, and then some 4-H'ers of various ages. So when the different 4-H'ers come in and they're 8, they want to probably kind of hang out with an 8-year-old where somebody that's a senior in high school, they want to maybe talk to a prospective member who is in their age group or project interest. So we'll have probably 2 to 3 of those, possibly 4. Kind of depends on what the leaders recommend as well. And then the other thing that I'm doing so that I get around the counties is I'm starting to do club tours. Last night I did my first one. And I bring it was in Union County, but I'd be doing both counties. So I create a teaching topic last night. And they're usually pretty lightning talks. They're like 10 minutes, if I can do that, depending on what they asked me to do. And this one, they did ask me to speak on communications presentations, which involved what's a demonstration, what's illustrated talk, and what's public speaking, because the kids, we just want to encourage more participation in that area. We've had good participation, but we'd like a few more. The other area, so we're moving into, in my role, we're getting into the educator part of this role. really hot and heavy this year. So one of the things I'll be lining up as well, that I will, coordinate and actually do some of the teaching is called a YLL in our world, but it's youth livestock literacy. And the bottom line is giving the 4-Hers information so they're raising their animals responsibly. They have to do that before they go to the county fair, or they're not allowed to show at the fair. County or state fair. That has to do with livestock, rabbits, livestock, chickens are livestock, horses, sheep, cows, so. And then a couple other things here, in South Dakota, we have 4 different regions. I'm in the southern region, which is the southern 17 counties. And we have to do one regional project with the other 4-H educators in the state. Every year, so, I'm going to be working on a precision ag day. That's gonna be held in the end of May at the Pearsford Research Park. And that kind of works out nicely with my background. I was a editor for a publication that covered North America a few years back. It was all about farm equipment, so I feel like, you know, I don't use a lot of the equipment, but I have plenty of background to be helpful there. Let's see. So, and there's more programming things that'll be coming, but I don't really want to go into things that aren't kind of on the calendar already. And then as far as my upcoming meetings and such, I'll let you look through that. I should finish my mandatory new hire training as of April. I've got 2 more sessions. So that plus I've got, there's various things on the calendar that I will be directing, so to speak. So if you look at my calendar, and this literally changes almost every day. So what you see today is going to be different than what you might see next week, but we're trying to plan ahead so that people have, like right now, they know that we're having our horse show for 2026. It's a Tri-County, Yankton, Clay, and Union. It's June 30th at the Donnelly Arena. We'll have, last year we had 25 or 26 4-H's. We had 250, 235 events, just like that. It's a huge undertaking for the, you know, volunteers and the staff. And it is a big show for Dr. Gold. He was kind of surprised to hear that. So, but anyhow, do you have any questions for me? And the computer and the monitor are wonderful. We're not really nice, so.
You've been very busy.
Well, yeah, I think it's helped to go through the fairs. Because one of the things I didn't know when I started, and it might be kind of nice for people to know, is that like colleges track football stats. Now we're starting in a new year. We track every ribbon placing of every 4-H'er. It sounds difficult, and it is a challenge, but we have software built in. If it's recorded correctly, then I can pull a report. That's how I, you know, send it to the media too. But so it is busy, but you know, if you love what you're doing, it doesn't feel like a job. There are days that I'm like, you know, but the kids really inspire me. And the volunteers, and everybody's working hard, and there are future leaders. You might be interested to know one of the things that we are looking at is officer training on a kind of a regular basis. So someday they can sit in your spot.
Well, I think that's
Or maybe President of the United States, you know, we don't know who we got there. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Will you take adult applicants to that program? I think.
Well, I did recommend, I did tell Dr. Nolan, he said should we start at 4-H for 30 and over? That was just a kind of, but no, might be worth it. Might be a whole new thing, but anyway, so I'm happy in the role, and I appreciate your support as well.
Thank you for all your hard work.
You're welcome.
And robust reporting. It's nice to be able to clearly see what you want to, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Carry resolution 2026-01 for election precincts and polling places.
Got to set this every year, nothing different, so same as last year.
Move to pass resolution 2026-01.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mochler,
Yes.
Graylow,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Easy,
Yes.
Gilbertson.
Yes.
Motion passes. We have resolution 2026-02 for precinct election official fees.
Again, same as last year. I didn't change anything there.
Move to accept resolution 2026-02.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
My only discussion was that I think it's getting harder and harder to be an election worker and maybe, I don't know if it's harder to recruit election workers, but you provided this without any notes or recommendations of changes. Do you think that we need any based on those issues or?
I feel like we're in a good spot. I compared with a lot of the other counties. We tend to do that every year. And I think we're good. Some pay by the hour. It works out about the same for about the number of hours that, we have our people there. And so I don't think a flat fee versus hourly makes up a lot of difference because it does work out about the
As
same.
long as we're not hand counting every ballot. So, yes, on that note, no further discussion from me, though.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mochler,
Yes.
Graylow,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Easy,
Yes.
Gilbertson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Employee handbook revisions.
Okay, well, I talked to Andy and Brent last week and then, yesterday morning. And I think we've got the military comp time ironed out, so we have it at a maximum of 80 hours. And then the military employees may also carry over comp time at the discretion of the department head. So we kind of left that now up to, for example, Andy. And then on, it's supposed to be on page 19 of the manual where we start talking about holiday time. This is where I talked to both of them because the sections just weren't quite reading right according to what we were doing. And we tried to make it as uniform as we could. So with Andy's, we changed it so that the employee would receive double time for hours worked on a holiday. Or if the holiday falls on one of their days off, then they would get like a floating holiday to use another day. But no additional compensation. They may carry over holiday leave in the sheriff's department or the jail, and that was something that Andy said would make his life a lot easier. I think he said that at the last meeting too. For the highway department, it was just 8 hours for holiday pay, so we changed it to, 2 times their regular pay for the hours that they're working on the holiday, so tried to make that the same as the sheriff's office. Brent did want to leave the rest of that paragraph the same. We kind of talked about it and he felt like they wanted to keep that as it was, so. Those were really the only changes that you would see from what we had last week discussed.
I was gonna point out, and this is my understanding, I think that we all agree on it, is we're talking about holidays, designated holidays in the handbook. When you close the courthouse, that's an admin day.
Right.
Like Friday after Christmas this year, sometime when it snows or something. So those that work, they don't get holiday pay for working those days. It's just straight pay.
That's good clarification. I think the only potential amendment that I was considering proposing was so in the section on compensatory time. So if it's advantageous to be able to have carryover, I mean, you discussed some, I think, good reasons why we don't want to have people trying to use stuff up at the end of the year when there's also holidays happening and a lot of end of the year business trying to wrap up and stuff. And so my only thing that I wanted us to consider was just allowing all of the department heads to have that discretion to grant carryover on compensatory time for all employees. So not only the military employees, but the advantages that you explained seemed to apply more broadly even than that. And so that was the only change that I thought we might consider.
Everybody else
Military's got
this year, yeah, they just paid them out. And, and, you know, Carrie just paid out all unused comp time. And then our military folks that had been holding that leave got caught up in that and got. So then we changed that. And I don't know if Carrie wants to have everybody carried over, if that's a problem. You know,
Well, military's kind of geared for summer camp. That was kind of my.
I had one that's drilling in February and she had some comp time on the book. She was gonna use in February, but she got paid out at the end of December. You know,
So I think,
that's where it came from.
you know, I think for military people, that makes sense. I think when we talked about it in our department head meeting, the concern with at least the courthouse people was that we don't budget for comp time, so when our people do earn it. You know, it's nice to start off that new year with a fresh budget and not kind of carry over. I don't know.
Yeah, so because I was kind of thinking about that too, and it seemed like, well, if you aren't budgeting for it, and then, I mean, the alternative is that it's paid out. So then you necessarily will have that additional cost, and since we have caps on these, you'll reach that cap and then you can't go any beyond that cap. So if you, you know, if you end up carrying that over into the new year, it just seemed like, well, this is, it didn't, in my mind, I thought, well, that seems like that isn't an additional burden, or I couldn't see what the additional burden would be budgetarily and things like that beyond what we've already got here. You know, if you're sitting on 40 and then you come into the new year with that 40, well, you could have gotten that 40. You know, you could have built that up over the next year and it would avoid that forced payout at the end of the year for department heads that, you know, that it was advantageous for them to not do that, but. It's just,
And it's okay with me. I mean, it's, most of my people aren't gonna have that. Other than my military people, I discourage and all, but don't allow them to accumulate comp. They get paid overtime, because otherwise we just have to fill those shifts.
Yeah.
We don't just close. I mean, the rest of the county typically just closes, other than highway. And so with us to try to get those hours covered to let them take, you know, I'd rather just pay them the overtime. And so, but we also have a practice of requiring them to burn that before they can use their leave. So they can't take vacation. I'm gonna take 40 hours of vacation and leave that comp hanging there. So they're gonna use the comp first before their vacation. So I don't have a problem with.
I think the other department heads not in those meetings wanted that change that's proposed right now to leave it the way it is, to pay it out, not accrue it over.
I don't want to.
I wouldn't really be a change, I guess. And I think, I mean, so in my mind, when you're writing an employee handbook, you like, it's desirable to have a lot of clarity from an employee's point of view, right? As you're reading through this, you know just what the rules are, but these are also small departments. Everybody knows everybody knows the department heads directly. Each department has got their own different kind of balance of things. And so that's where I feel like having a little bit of flexibility is advantageous. And so I wouldn't say that, everybody has to, every department head has to carry it over. It's already built in here that it's at the discretion of the department heads. But if everybody thinks that this is the right language, I'm not pushing on the change. It was just something I wanted to discuss here. So yeah. So I move to approve the handbook revisions as presented.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Who was the second? Sorry.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign, motion passes. Andy, we've got surplus declaration of, was it 120?
120 trays.
120 stacking 4-compartment food trays.
All right, we've got 100 listed in the agenda here,
Yeah.
but that seems like a pretty minor
Yeah, there were
change.
10 cases. I went and looked yesterday and there are 12 in each case. So
All right.
120.
Well, I feel comfortable making a motion to declare those 120 insulated stacking 4-compartment food trays surplus.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion passes. Now, Michael, at the last meeting,
Yes, so
we didn't, it's not on the agenda, so, but at some point we have to appoint 3 people.
what we need to do now is, because we also surplused other items last week, there was a light. A flag pole light as well as, was there another item?
Warming tray.
Warming trays. So what we have to do now is pursuant to chapter 613 of SDCL, which guides the disposal of surplus government property. After determining surplus property, we've now done that with 3 items. Doesn't matter if it's real or physical property. The board shall appoint 3 real property owners of the county to appraise the value of such property. Said property owners shall file said appraisal with the fiscal officer, Carrie, in this situation. And if it appraises at $2,500 or less, or conveniently, if it's a zoo animal, which we don't have, the board can sell the surplus items in a private or public sale without notice. Here, it seems like they're going to appraise over the $2,500 mark. So you can either conduct sealed bids or auction the items. The sealed bids, via sealed bids, you have to give notice of the sale by publishing a notice at least 10 days prior to the sale. You advertise at least twice prior to opening the sealed bids, and you go through the sealed bid process. Via auction, which is what we were contemplating right through Purple Wave, probably for all of these items. The board may sell surplus property at an auction in lieu of the sealed bids. They must advertise at least once each week for 2 consecutive weeks, with the first publication no less than 10 days prior to the sale. First publication has to be in the official newspaper, second can be wherever you want it to be. And then just the only exception to that is when you have items that are being traded for other property, property which is to be destroyed or property that's being transferred to another division. You don't have to go through that appraisal process. So here, we do have to appoint 3 individuals to surplus.
But we'll do that at the next meeting.
I think we can do it here today because we have it noted as surplus declaration, so it's a requirement right after you do the surplus. You have these individuals in order to affect the surplus. So I think it'd be proper at this point that you could appoint 3. Statute requires that it's 3 real property owners of the county in this situation.
Can I just for clarification? The purpose of the appraisal is to determine if they exceed the threshold, the $2,500 threshold.
Correct.
Can't the commission just acknowledge that and just advertise it?
Not according to state law. I don't see any carve out where that's permissible. I mean, it would make it's common sense, and here they're brand new items that have receipts. We know what the value of them are. I still think we have to follow what state law doesn't account for that.
It would seem like the intention of that is to make sure that you don't forego the public sale with advertisement and just sell it.
I agree. I think
if you're gonna do that anyway. I mean, I don't have any objection to it. I just want to expedite things.
Yeah, I think we still have to do it, unfortunately.
We haven't in the past.
Yeah.
It's surplus media.
So, and I understand.
We've done it with real estate.
We have done it with real estate and some items.
But yeah, for other items, you're right.
But sometimes you think of like a patrol vehicle that's being traded in, then you don't have to, or if it's items that are going to be either destroyed or going to another political subdivision, you don't have to. I've done a more comprehensive look through the surplus statutes, and just tried to understand them better because I think there's a little more. I mean, obviously now this is important moving forward that we just are more diligent with the way that state law requires.
So when I say we've done it in the past, at least we've gone in excess because we've always advertised.
Right.
You know, we've done the public sales and we've always advertised, which is what the appraisal.
Which is, and it's gonna come up again because the highway department always surpluses scrap iron.
Yeah.
So how do we go through this process for that?
We'll have to have 3 landowners appraise it, and then we just, I agree with what Andy's saying is that this is the minimum that's required. I mean, I think you have to do the appraisal. Doesn't matter if it's real or physical property, you have to do the appraisal. If it's under $2,500, there's less obligation. You can do a public sale, you can do a private sale. If it's over $2,500, there's these obligations. To me, it seems like we've probably appraised items. Without the appraisal, we've taken things via notice that we weren't required to do. We've sold things with notice that we weren't required to do if it was under $2,500. But the gatekeeper here is conducting the appraisal. The appraisal has to be done, and it also has to be left with the fiscal officer. It's not subject to inspection according to state law, but it has to be, the actual appraisal has to be filed with the auditor.
Is this something that we could either, I mean, I'm just thinking, this shouldn't be the way this law is written. Is this something you can ask the Attorney General's office for clarification on and say, hey, if we put it out for bid, it seems like this is just to determine whether we need to post notice. If we go ahead and post notice, can we ignore this requirement, which is just needless bureaucracy and needless people wasting their time?
So I think what I like the idea. The problem I think is that I don't think that the law is ambiguous. I think it's tells us what we have to do, probably needs to be changed.
So
rather than get an opinion from the Attorney General.
I think that we should reach out to our local legislators and see if any of them are willing to carry those as a bill. 600 bills come up in session routinely. This sounds like an easy one that I'll sleep. So
Right.
So
Yeah, it could be just either advertise the sale or appraise the property and find that it doesn't meet the threshold. But if you advertise the sale regardless of what you believe it's worth, then you're already in compliance with the intent. So the intent is to not, to make sure that these items aren't being sold without public knowing about it.
Right.
I hate rules that waste time for no reason.
So 613.2 says after the governing board has made a determination of surplus, which we did here today, the governing board shall appoint 3 real property owners to value. Such real property owners shall file a report with the appraisal with the fiscal officer of the political subdivision. The governing board may employ a person or persons licensed in the state to do fee appraisals, which we have done right in the past with real property, rather than doing the real property owners. That's been conversation at least. But that is the requirement. The only carve out is in 613.3, the exception is that any improvements of land shall be appraised separately from the land is the first sentence there. But then it said equipment or supplies which are to be traded, property to be destroyed, or property to be transferred to another political subdivision aren't subject to what I just defined in 613.2. So it's not ambiguous, it's clear, it's just in certain situations, it creates more work than it should.
So if it's gonna be destroyed?
If it's gonna be destroyed, you don't have to.
So scrap iron falls under that.
Depending on what they're doing with it, I suppose. I mean, what there is being sold to be destroyed, or is it being sold to be broken down? I mean, right, like a VHS player is being destroyed. Is scrap iron being destroyed in the same sense because it's not going to the landfill?
Well, it's going to be melted down.
Yeah, right. Probably doesn't meet the definition of destroyed. I mean, I think the definition of destroyed is that it's worthless and gonna be thrown away. So it probably, I mean, I think that the really what needs to happen would be, I mean, I would imagine that this process is probably not being done correctly pursuant to state law in many cases, because it does seem to be kind of missing the mark. Seems like it'd be proper to ask a legislator to kind of reword the statute.
What's the statute number on this one again?
613 is where everything is located at on surplus for governmental things.
So- Those 3 property owners do this
They file the appraisal
with Carrie.
and then if it hits the $2,500 mark, you trigger the notice requirements, and if it doesn't, then there's an easier, simpler way to.
But we don't have to do anything else.
No, you don't have to do anything else. Well, you just have to appoint the 3 landowners. They file the appraisal, and then the statute speaks for itself of what the obligation then of the county is. And there's already been a discussion about this going to auction rather than sealed bids.
So just to keep this simple, we can appoint, and I'm appointing because you're in this building. Because that's where the equipment's at, and you have the receipts. Lane and you and Sarah Miller. And just. All you guys, I mean, they're gonna have the receipts, it's gonna tell you what you need to do. You just have to sign the form.
Okay, there is a specific form that we have to use.
You just have to file the appraisal value of each item that you determine to be the value of the items with Carrie.
Just a piece of paper saying I valued the trees at
Correct.
X.
Yeah, we, the 3 of you collectively.
We did this once years ago, and back then the threshold was $500.
Right.
It was some surplus firearms. And we did, I think we brought people in from the building and we wrote it all out, and none of them exceeded $500 individually. And so then we sold them, by sealed bids.
Sure.
But I think at that point, I think we drafted a document that each of the landowners filled in their appraisal and their name.
Yeah. And we could do that too, and I could send that out to the three of you. If those are who's appointed, so we would need a motion to appoint, I could create a template for a document, send it to the three of you, and then. You guys should meet, I'll just send one form, because I think I want it just to be one value. Meet, make a determination of value, give it to Carrie. So what you need to do is make a motion to appoint the three. I think it also would be proper here to make a motion then that if the values exceed, any items that exceed $2,500, which I think we expect all of them to here, that whether or not you want them to be surplus, or rather done via sealed bids or auction, and then they can just start that process.
I think Purple Wave, we're just gonna go public auction, right?
Yeah, I think that'll be just the easiest way to go, we'll probably get us our best price.
Yeah.
And they'll kind of run it, we'll just run the ad.
Who's the third person?
Sarah, all right, what's your last name?
Miller.
Sarah Miller. I move to appoint Lane Stewart, Andy Howe, and Sarah Miller to our appraisal committee to appraise these items. And should they exceed the $2,500 threshold, that we put them up for that we surplus them and put them up for auction. Did I get all that?
Yes.
All right.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion passes.
And I could start a conversation with a couple legislators on this too.
Yeah, I was like, I think I'm gonna go to Rotary tomorrow. I gotta raise my hand and tell them to fix this. Yes.
I think the purpose of all of this is so you can't just say, let's say it's worth $2,000, then we don't do a,
Yes.
Advertisement, we do some private sale deal and
Absolutely.
that just wouldn't hold water with the intent. So the intent is just to make sure it's all,
Yeah, just fix the language so like, yeah. Thank you for, getting a little ball rolling on that. Yeah, you're welcome.
Now we've got the inmate boarding contract. For boarding Clay County inmates in Union County, and then there's another contract for boarding Union County inmates in Clay County.
Yeah, they sent us their contract. They held their price at $80. I kind of expected them to increase. And we had kind of talked about we'd be reciprocal with that. If they charge us 80, we'll charge them 80, even though our rate's 95, but we did establish this or by contract. We could charge them whatever we want and they could charge us whatever we want. But Union County was good to us during our period when we needed the housing, they didn't raise their rates. And so I had no problem with leaving it the same. It's gonna be a rare thing. For example, if they have what females they can handle, they might bring some up. We might have a co-defendant we need to separate. We're in a better situation to do that without going to them. So I really don't expect to use them. But I didn't see any reason to charge them 95. After all this time, they kept their price at 84. It's a minimal use kind of situation. I just recommend the $80 for Union County.
I move to approve the inmate boarding contract for boarding Clay County inmates in Union County as presented. And authorize the chair to sign.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion passes.
And I move to approve the inmate boarding contract for boarding Union County inmates in Clay County as presented.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All same sign, motion passes.
And just as an information item on that topic, I did send a draft of a contract to Moody County, offering to house for them here. They don't have a jail. And that's at $95. That'll be, their commission will consider that today. If they sign it, I'll bring it back for your consideration.
All right, thank you. I need your signature on these two. Okay, I don't think we forgot anything.
Right, may I? I move to adjourn.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign, motion passes. We're adjourned.
89-minute first meeting of the year. Woo!